Hi Elvis fans, good morning to you. I love this interview. I stumbled across it. I think it was done in 1960. Elvis had just come out of the army and an interviewer manages to get a hold of him and ask him some great questions. I think Elvis had had a lot of time on his hands in the army and was able to think through his career and decide for himself what his ambitions were for the future. So I think when this interviewer came along and was asking these questions, Elvis already knew the answer to these questions. Yes, he was very insecure and very unsure about the future, but I think he had practiced what he was going to reply to these questions in his mind over and over and again, and he knew what he wanted. Let's listen.
Do you want to become a dramatic actor, is that right?
I think all Elvis fans know that Elvis, when he came out of the army, had his mind set on becoming a dramatic actor. And even though he deep down truly loved being a singer, a performer, he did have big aspirations on becoming a world famous actor of quality.
Wow, so that's my big ambition. Takes a lot of time, a lot of experience, but I hope I'll make it. I mean, that's what I want to do.
And this is where Elvis shows his true personality. He was unsure of his future and himself. He was insecure. He didn't know if he had what it took to be a great actor. He looked up to people like Tony Curtis, Marlon Brando, Rod Steiger, James Dean. He wanted to be of that quality, that class, and make the types of films that they'd all been successful in. And he wasn't sure if he could be as good as that, but he really wanted to be. He had his mind set on it.
And do you feel that you want to fashion yourself after Sinatra or perhaps James Dean?
I wouldn't want to fashion myself after any one individual, because I would like to develop my own technique.
And this reply tells me that Elvis had put a lot of thought into the type of actor that he wanted to be. And I think he really studied actors and certain films like Rebel Without a Cause, just films that he really thought, I could do that. I'd love to be as good as that. And I don't think he was going to go into acting lightheartedly. I think he took it very, very seriously and just really hoped that he could live up to the challenge. And he knew to be a great actor, he needed his own style. He couldn't imitate or copy the great actors. He had to find it within himself to be Elvis the actor. And he had already decided there's no way he was going to imitate anybody.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I admire, Mr. Sinatra, and I think he's a great actor and all that. But I wouldn't want to pattern myself after any individual.
And this reply just reminds me of what a nice guy Elvis was, with a lot of respect. And he admired many people, not just actors. And he didn't want to take anything away from all of these great actors by saying that he didn't want to copy them. So he shows his respect here in his reply. He's just a good guy.
All this means, of course, that some of your music will lose, perhaps. You'll be doing fewer records?
No, sir, it doesn't mean that, because I wouldn't want to give up singing.
And of course, Elvis never had any intention of giving up singing. Singing was the core of Elvis. It was the heart of Elvis. It was the thing that made him tick. His talent was immense, as we all know. But he still had aspirations.
I'm only saying that I would like to become a good actor,
And the sad truth is that Elvis really was never able to really become this good actor that he really wanted to be. Yes, he did make 2 or 3 movies in the earlier years of his filming career that I think were excellent, and I really like King Creole. And he definitely did have the ability to be as good as James Dean and Tony Curtis. But unfortunately, and I think partly to do with Colonel Tom Parker, his massive dreams of being a serious actor and doing the great film roles were never really to be, because the career wouldn't allow it. The money was where the more corny films were, and unfortunately this is such a sad ending to his movie career, because then he went on to make 33 movies that really, most of them were just not great. And I know myself, I loved his corny films because I was 10, 11 years old. So I really looked forward to Elvis's films, and they were all blockbusters, massive successes in the cinemas, and they all made a fortune, and Elvis looked great in them. But they weren't the style of movie that Elvis wanted. Yes, the children loved them, and maybe back in the 60s, you could go out on a date with your partner to watch them. I can see how the cinemas loved that. But this isn't what Elvis wanted, and it's such a shame, because deep down we know what Elvis truly wanted, and he was never able to blossom in the way he definitely could have done. And the story of Barbra Streisand offering Elvis Presley the lead role in the film A Star Is Born, and in the end there were complications and Elvis couldn't accept it. He did accept it at first, but it just wasn't to be. Again, I think the Colonel played a role in this decision, and that film went on to win loads of awards and to be a massive success, and I think would have completely turned Elvis's life around, may have even saved his life, and could have been the beginning of a massive movie career that he dreamed of. It just wasn't meant to be.